Hey there, Audrey Hutton, your loan officer with the Hutton Mortgage team, answering your question in regards to when should you schedule the movers or give your notice to your landlord or anticipate when things should be scheduled for anything during the transaction. So you have two options. Option one, you can create a buffer for yourself. So let's say if you're scheduled to close on the 30th, anticipate a buffer that if things don't go exactly according to plan, maybe you schedule the movers for the 7th or the 8th and let your landlord know if you're currently renting that you might need a couple days ahead of the schedule, and that way you're not stressing, right? Or you could do the second option, which is you plan and hope that everything goes exactly according to plan, that there's absolutely no delays for any reason, and schedule everything for the very day that it's on the contract and completely stress yourself out so that you have to reschedule everything and potentially pay extra money that you're not thinking about now. So which option seems better? We recommend go according to option one. So just know that when we receive your contract, that is a legal binding document that you and the seller have with each other to perform on time. So what that means is you as a buyer will do everything possible to get us, the lender, the documents that are needed for us to get you that loan. So you might say, great, well, I know I'm going to be on time. I'm going to get Audrey and her team everything that they ask for. So what could possibly delay? Well, there's a lot of things that can potentially delay that's going to be outside of your control, our control as a lender, and your realtor's control. So some of those things are things like verification of employment. We've had some cases, believe me, in all the years that I've been a loan officer, we have seen it all. So I'm telling you, you have to create that buffer. We have to verify your employment with your employer and also the IRS. There have been times where we didn't hear back from the IRS for 10 to 14 days. There have been times that we didn't get verification from your employer, even if you're pleading and asking somebody to get back to us for 2 or 3 days, right? There's sometimes things that are just out of everybody's control. Everybody does their best, right? There's also things happening with appraisers. Appraisers are far and few between when the rates are great and everybody's refinancing, or in markets where there's a rural property. You have to give the appraisers time to do things. So while there is a schedule, and if you choose to have contingencies or not, if people need a little bit of extra time to get your inspections in to make sure that this is a valid property that you're buying, that you're paying a fair price for it, all of these things are set up to protect you as the buyer with this huge investment that you're doing. So if something's a little bit off timeline, you have to account for that and buffer for that. So other things that could potentially delay is maybe you're starting to pack and we ask for something and then you're like, darn it, I just packed everything up. I need to go find that. Maybe it takes you an extra day to find things like that. Just little examples of things. We've had a seller all of a sudden have to take off and they take an extra day. The county's recorder's office, there's no guarantee as far as that they will perform on time. Sometimes, depending on what county you're buying in, they can take extra long to get things recorded. So again, those are just examples of some of the many things that can happen, and I don't want to stress you out by telling you that. But what our job is as a lender is think of it like an orchestra. There's all these different people making beautiful music, everything's going perfect. If there's that one person or thing or company that is a little bit off tune, it is our job to let everybody know immediately. Sometimes that can happen in the beginning, the middle, or sometimes towards the end of the transaction if something comes up with the IRS. So just keep in mind that keeping a flexible date for yourself and not scheduling everything so tight, it might cost you a little bit of extra money, but it's so much worth it because you're not going to be stressing at the very end and you've created this buffer for yourself for anything that could potentially happen. So as a lender, we promise that we always perform on time. We will let you know exactly what is needed, and it's our job to keep pushing on all of these different companies and government policies. So if something's off timeline, we'll let you know immediately as soon as we find out, just so that you have the information and we can properly prepare. And because we are so good with our communication, I would say 99% of the time, there is no issues because we're letting you know, the seller know, everybody know right ahead of time. So that way you guys can, again, properly prepare. There's a lot of moving pieces with all of this. So that's why having a strong team with your realtor and your lender is so important, because believe me, there are plenty of lenders out there that have no idea how to coordinate all the pieces. And sometimes you will be held in a huge delay because they didn't communicate or notice that something was off timeline. And then you're going to be left, holding the pieces together. So just know that we are very experienced with purchase. This is what we do. We will keep everybody in line and the communication up so that you know exactly what's going on. So keep us posted if you have any other questions. I hope that this alleviates some of your fear to know that everything will be okay and you have it because you're going to be with the best team. Thank you so much and looking forward to your questions. Give us a call.